A spiritual and moral dilemma is shaking one of the most famous Marian shrines. The venerated Sanctuary of Lourdes, an annual destination for millions of pilgrims from every corner of the globe, is facing an unprecedented crisis that profoundly calls into question the fundamental values of the Catholic faith. Welcome to World of Faith, where we will explore together the fascinating world of miracle and divine prophecy. Here is the whole truth about these shocking facts. The epicenter of this storm is the scandal that recently engulfed the figure of Father Marco Rupnik, a Jesuit whose artistic talent in creating mosaics allowed him to see his works adorn numerous sacred places, including the Sanctuary of Lourdes itself. But there is one dark detail that has strongly influenced the opinion of millions of people, and it is something very difficult to ignore. The revelations about Rupnik's sexual and psychological abuse of several women have shaken the community of believers to its foundations, causing an unprecedented wave of indignation and disapproval. The dilemma now facing religious authorities is whether to keep or remove Rupnik's artwork at Lourdes, a decision fraught with far-reaching spiritual and moral implications. On the one hand, the mosaics represent a central and essential element of the pilgrimage experience for countless faithful who come to the sanctuary in search of healing, comfort, and spiritual renewal. These artistic masterpieces have become an integral part of the cultural and religious heritage of Lourdes, helping to create that atmosphere of sacredness and devotion that has attracted millions of people for centuries. On the other hand, however, the very presence of these mosaics could constitute a further source of anguish and pain for the victims of abuse, reopening still open wounds and making their healing process more difficult. How can these individuals find peace and consolation in a place that celebrates the works of the one who inflicted unspeakable suffering on them? To address this delicate and complex situation, Monsignor Mikas has established a special working group composed of representatives of different components of the religious community, a victim of abuse, an expert in sacred art, and a psychotherapist specialized in trauma treatment. This committee will be tasked with carefully assessing all the implications of the ongoing crisis, taking into account the different perspectives and sensitivities involved, and making a recommendation on the best course of action to follow. The repercussions of this incident, however, go far beyond the borders of Lourdes and represent a challenge for the entire Catholic Church. Indeed, the Diocese of Versailles has already revoked a previously awarded commission to Rupnik to design a new church, signaling a significant shift in the Church's approach to figures implicated in abuse scandals. This decision could represent an important step towards a greater commitment to the fight against abuse and the protection of victims, demonstrating that the Church is finally willing to put aside all other considerations to prioritize the well-being and healing of those who have suffered unspeakable trauma. Archbishop Mikas himself admitted to being deeply troubled by the situation, stressing how he reflects daily on the devastating impact of abuse on victims and how the presence of Rupnik's mosaics can influence, positively or negatively, their healing process. The global community is watching intently, knowing that the final decision will have a lasting impact on the perception of the Catholic Church and the faith of millions of people. Some fear that any removal of the mosaics could be interpreted as a surrender to external pressure and a denial of the artistic value of Rupnik's works. Others, however, believe that maintaining such works would be tantamount to a betrayal of the fundamental values of the Church and a further outrage for the victims of abuse. Before we go any further, please subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Make sure you don't miss a moment because we have an important question to share with you. Despite the ongoing crisis, the Sanctuary of Lourdes remains a beacon of hope for many faithful. This sacred place, associated with numerous testimonies of miraculous healings, and considered one of the most important Marian shrines in the world, continues to attract faithful from every corner of the globe in search of relief, redemption, and spiritual renewal. Monsignor Mekas, entrusting himself to the guidance and intercession of Mary, Our Lady of Lourdes, hopes that every decision will be inspired by compassion, divine wisdom, and respect for human dignity. Our Lady of Lourdes, who according to tradition appeared to a young peasant girl in 1858, is venerated as a source of consolation and hope for the suffering, and the bishop is confident that her intercession can illuminate the path to a just and merciful solution. The controversy over Rupnik has inevitably divided public opinion, with some defending him by virtue of his artistic talent and the cultural value of his works, and others calling for a tougher and more unequivocal response from the Church against abuse. It is a debate that highlights the tensions and contradictions within the Church itself, divided between the need to preserve its cultural heritage and that of facing with courage and determination its shadows and errors of the past. The decision taken by the Sanctuary of Lourdes could therefore set a new standard in the Church's fight against abuse, demonstrating that the healing and well-being of victims must be at the heart of ecclesiastical concerns. If the choice were to be to remove the mosaics, it would be a strong and unequivocal signal that the Church is finally willing to come to terms with its past and to put the protection of the most vulnerable first. In this time of trial for faith, Lourdes has the opportunity to become a model of accountability, transparency, and renewed commitment to justice and compassion. The Sanctuary of Lourdes, a place that has offered hope and healing to millions of people, can now offer an example of integrity and profound change, becoming a beacon for a renewed church more in tune with the evangelical values of mercy, compassion, and respect for human dignity. As the debate continues to heat up and the global community anxiously awaits the final decision, the prayers and hopes of many are with the victims of abuse and all those seeking healing and reconciliation. This is a crucial moment for the Catholic Church, called to demonstrate its ability to renew itself and to face its shadows and contradictions with courage and honesty. The history of the shrine as a place of miracles and hope is far from over. Rather, a new critical chapter is opening, whose decisions will have a lasting impact on the future of faith and the trust of believers around the world. It will be a test for the credibility of the Church itself, called to demonstrate that it is truly at the service of the weakest, and that it puts justice and compassion before any other consideration. Did you know that prayer is the best tool we have? For this very reason, I want to invite you to pray with me. Let us close our eyes together and say together, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Hail, Queen Mother of Mercy. Hail, our life, our sweetness, and our hope. To thee do we cry, we exiled children of Eve. To thee do we sigh, mourning and weeping in this valley of tears. Come then, our advocate, turn your merciful eyes towards us, and show us, after this exile, Jesus, the blessed fruit of your womb. O clement, O pious, O sweet Virgin Mary. And you, what do you think about this incredible story? Write your answer in the comments. I can't wait to read your opinion. If you've come this far, it means you like our content. Why not help us grow even more by subscribing to the channel? And if you liked this video, don't forget to leave us a nice like. It's the best way to let us know that you like our content and that you want to see more. See you in the next video.